And we're live. Hello all and welcome back to the Sigil stream. My name as always is Mr. Harlan Guthrie, and we are here once again with the lovely and talented Ms. Jo Fallick. We're joined once again by the enigmatic Erica.
Hereafter, here again.
Ooh.
It's time to tagline.
We're joined again by the one and only Garrus with a question mark.
Gallon.
And joining us for the first time and for this campaign, please welcome to the stage, Jay. Whoa, 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 whoa. And we are here with Hereafter, Chapter 0. That's right. Tonight is going to be a Session 0/overview of the brand new Hereafter game by Sigil Entertainment that is currently on Kickstarter. That's right. Thank you. Please hold your applause to the end. You said that, really. That's right. The Kickstarter is on right now for a little game called Hereafter. What is Hereafter? Well, it is a game that takes place after the game you play. As we know, many, many times we die in D&D specifically, or 5th edition, I should say. And Hereafter is a wonderful new game that I think as of now is just about to be funded. So big success on them. That's right. Oh yeah, what am I doing? I have fake Santa Claus.
It just seems so natural for them to be succeeding. That was like,
I know.
It doesn't need the applause.
Well, and it's it's funny because there's always a bit of sort of, oh, I'm going to support this no matter what when it comes to working on something like we do. But I'm really excited for this because I genuinely think, what a cool idea. But beyond all of that, the writing, Kevin Andrew Murphy, the design and layout, Gwen Marshall, the actual art by Aaron Acevedo, all of it is so fantastically well done and put together that I'm really excited to play it. And of course, if you want the link, it's right there in the bottom of the screen. But yeah, Hereafter is basically a module, a setting book, is something that you can bring to the table after your characters die, whether it be via TPK or just sort of a falling boulder, as we experienced in the last game that we played together.
It was kind of a falling boulder, wasn't it?
Multiple. It was kind of a falling boulder. Yeah. There were many different ways that the boulders could kill us, but falling was the way this one happened. But yeah, it's what comes next. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the book as we go through character creation, talk a little bit about what the campaign entails, which is from the book, which is now on Kickstarter. And then, who knows, depending on where we go and how we do, we're going to probably kick off into a little bit of the game tonight. So stick around. Lots of fun stuff to happen. Blah, 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 blah. In the meantime, let's talk a little bit about what brought our characters here. So you most likely won't be aware, but the last 18 episodes that we did was something called Hereafter the First Fire, in which Gary's character and Joe's character and Eric's character, as well as Ahmed, who's no longer with us, in the campaign, he did pass away. In fact, he didn't even die in the campaign.
He's the only one who survived.
No, got away.
Actually, the only one who survived. That's right. Kala, she sailed off into the sunset. But they awoke some gargantuan beasts in the depths of the earth, and it awoke, killing everybody. But now they're here in a strange new world that I'm really excited to talk to you all about tonight. But nothing starts without the characters. So I guess first and foremost, originally, Joe, who were you playing in the first campaign?
In our first campaign, I was playing Brea Oris Iberia. She was a hexblood, so like half a hag or kind of turning into a hag.
Half hag.
Half
good
hag.
Half.
That's to be determined.
TBD.
I was playing a rogue, and as you can see from my antlers, I am retaining some of her qualities. So I actually have been thinking about this, and I was throwing around a little bit of ideas, and I think I'm actually going to stay Brea.
Really?
Very
good.
Interesting, because I don't think that's going to be the same as everybody.
No.
I do want to share a little bit of the book as we go through it too later on. Okay, so you're staying Brea in the Hereafter.
Yes. However, I am going to need to create something called a tether that the book talks about. Now, this is a link that the characters have to create or are recommended to create that ties them to their lives before death to ensure that they're striving to return.
Yeah.
So
tethers are basically a really unique way to make you care about returning, because ultimately joining the Hereafter, which is just sort of the astral plane that you're in after you die, is all about getting back to where you first fell so that you can continue on your journey. Or at least it is for most people. Who knows if it will be for this campaign. There's a lot of variants that we could be playing with. So you're going to have to worry about kind of what tether wants to bring you back.
Yeah, I'm looking at this D10. Obviously, some of them speak more closely to my character than others. The 0 entry is you were on a quest hoping to find meaning in your life. You'd searched for years knowing it was out there to no avail, whether it was love or beauty or wisdom and friends. You had finally learned where it was waiting for you when you died an untimely and tragic death. But perhaps fate need not be so fickle. Perhaps you shall overcome even this to achieve your heart's desire.
Nice. So you're thinking you're just going to roll on a table and sort of pick from what you like best?
No, I mean, that one speaks to me the most of the D10 table.
Cool. I mean, again, without tethers, it's sort of part of the plot that's pushing you forward, the motivation to get back. So obviously we want to make some really fun tethers. Another thing I was thinking about too is because we have Jay joining us. Jay's background is going to be, at least for the next few minutes, unknown to the other three who have come from our previous game. But I also think with the nature of Hereafter, I don't think it limits itself to just you returning to the plane you came from. I think there's a play here where if you meet other people that have died from other planes and they, join your party or you join theirs, there's a possibility that they could be like, look, let me kind of convince you to come back to my way, and we can find a way to do that too. I mean, all of this has a ton of world building, but as every GM knows, nothing is set in absolute stone. There's a lot of fun to be had at the cracks in between, the understanding and stuff like that. But that's exciting, Joe. I'm really excited that you're going to be playing the same character. I think Hexblood is a dope class. I think you played an amazing character. So I'm really excited to hear more.
I was really excited about my character. And honestly, I think the cool thing about her is how much she wanted to change. And I think not giving her that at the outset of this adventure is going to provide a lot more tension and places for character growth. As opposed to immediately kind of giving her what she wanted, which was a new body or to stop this metamorphosis.
Funny that your character was changing all the time, and perhaps might be the only one who didn't change, because Erica, tell us a little bit about Sal, and tell us who you're playing in the Hereafter.
God, I love Sal.
So Sal is, I'll start with, just change what I said immediately. Sal was a half-orc. And he was brought to this land out of a need to help his friends back home with each of their chosen professions. Different artisans. One was something like a brewer, something was like an alchemist, something was a cook. Just trying to find them such a rare and unique ingredient from this brand new land to bring back home for them to be able to excel in their chosen fields, basically. He found what he wanted from this land. He wanted to go home, and then the rest of the party was like, no, let's just stop the giant evil that's gonna destroy the world. And I was like, well, apparently I can't get back to where I need to go on my own, so I guess I'm stuck. And then you all killed him, so he's not gonna hold that too personally.
He killed as an indirect consequence of the decisions. They didn't corner him and stab him.
Did he also ride you into battle?
Yeah, Garrus rode you into battle.
Excellent point.
I did do that.
Because Sal was a druid, and he had the ability to wild shape. And in that moment of heroic pre-death, he had shapeshifted into a wolf and was helping Garrus get over there, and then boulders. What happened that last breath to still help his allies, he's tried to then shift back before he died. Started the process. Died midway through. Unfortunately, he did not have the energy to finish his shapeshifting. So now he has been resurrected in the same form that he had at death, which is now half wolf, well, at least half, legs, and half orc. So the new race is a centaur, which I found out you're allowed to have.
I found out you're allowed to have.
Are you like half dire wolf on the bottom or half horse?
You gotta be, right?
It'd have to be. Like, mechanically, it's going to be whatever the centaur says it is. But, narratively, yes, he's very much in that half-stuck state.
That's awesome. And, is it like clean like a centaur?
No, it's
or is
all
it, like,
fucky.
Weird?
It's very fucky. It is absolutely.
Like one short leg.
Do you have like little fingers coming out of your paw?
You can see the patches of like where a leg would actually be. Like there's too much going on all the way around. It's kind of half all over his body, so borderline body horror in that sense. But I just find it hilarious that the one who was transforming into a hag did not change, and the shapeshifter, who was very happy going from in and out of different forms, is now stuck in between them.
Yeah, I love that.
Can I ask you a question, Erica?
Yeah.
Do you have 4 legs?
Yes.
If you wear pants, do you wear them on all 4 legs or just on the back too?
So what he kind of did, he's had a lot of robes. So what happened was they just sort of billowed out, and the question was never answered.
Oh, just robes.
Just like, robes.
That sounds like unfinished business.
Really comfortable.
We'll find out by the end of the campaign.
Oh, listen, that is a secret goal now.
Inquiring minds need to know. But that's why we're also playing to keep
pants stalls. It's just pants everywhere. I don't understand why.
But that's always my hope is to make sure that
we have health pants. That's fantastic.
So he's going to be staying as a druid, though, as a Circle of the Moon druid, because I do love the idea of him being able to jump fully.
Oh, so like the default form will be the centaur, but he'll still be able to shape change into other things.
Cool. Yes, he'll be able to finish into a wolf.
Does the shift like swap? Do you get the head of a wolf and the body of a dude?
Just
run around and go, woof, 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 woof.
But you could also shape change back into your like self, couldn't you?
Only maybe, but only for as long as the actual transformation lasts.
So if you like really wanted to look your old self for a moment, you could shape change.
When you go to sleep, you turn into this hellish creature.
Back into this thing.
Great.
I love it. Fantastic. Jay, you're new to joining us. So what character are you planning on playing in the Hereafter?
Oh, I expected Gary to go before me.
Sure. Gary, let's talk about
Well, since you asked, Carlin.
I didn't want to put you at the end because then I thought it might be too much pressure. So I tried to, but you're right. Now it gives you more time to think. Gary, we've seen Garrus.
Yes.
He was a what?
Oh, Garrus was a tiefling paladin. I would like to make it clear, I didn't name Garrus after my own name,
Yes,
Gary.
you did.
Didn't you? though?
No, I didn't. I thought it was a cool name. And wait, that's my name almost. All right. Oh, well, let's just run with it. But he was a tiefling paladin who was a former soldier, and it was like implied, and he said a few times that like he lived a life of death and killing beforehand, but then tried to get away from all that after the death of his brother. Then went to Asura, is that right?
Yep.
I know the name of the place.
And listen, I don't, so don't worry about it.
Just trying to like redeem himself, and then atop Sal's back, riding with, I think it was like a sunstone in his hand.
Yeah, yeah.
Garrus ran into the eyeball of this giant thing, shoved it in, and that is the last thing he remembers.
Nice. So you're going to be like playing a bit of the whole like where the hell am I type stuff. Like,
yeah,
he
and
doesn't
also
remember dying.
No, and I'm changing. I'm not going to be a paladin anymore. I'm going to be a warlock, the Bone Speaker, which is from the book.
Yes, you brought up the first real point of talking back about the book, which is really fantastic. There's a lot of new options, one pretty much for each subclass or class, I should say. And the Warlock, the Bone Speaker, has some pretty fantastic abilities. Look at that picture, by the way.
I mean, I love the picture. The artwork in
that
this
is
fantastic.
Yeah, it's very cool. Badass. Badass.
The super dogs.
So yeah, you have a few new spells. You have a few new
I've never played a warlock.
Yeah, it's
Ooh.
exciting. Get ready to spam
Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, I've been told like that's just the one to get. Like,
This
just a
is awesome.
cantrip.
Doesn't matter. You're still gonna have fun. That's fantastic. So, but you're still a tiefling.
Yeah, I was gonna make him a high elf, but that was only like in my head mechanically because maybe they're better at magic. But I don't even know if they are. So I was just like, I'll keep him as a tiefling.
Okay,
But-
cool. So most of the party is still how they were in the
Yeah,
previous.
and I think because like the warlock bone speakers have so much to do with death, and his life before he was the Garrus we knew was so full of death. He's like, oh shit, it's kind of coming back to haunt me now. That sucks a little bit.
Now, Garrus has probably one of the strongest tethers. From those who hadn't watched the previous campaign, he was searching for his brother, who I think more or less we now know is going to be dead. Is
Yeah.
that possibly going to be his tether for back to reality? Or is that going to be his motivation within the hereafter?
It's gonna be his motivation within the hereafter because Garrus knows for a fact that his brother is dead.
Cool. So it might not be you leave, or maybe
He might
maybe,
stay. I don't know.
Maybe your brother already got out of the hereafter, because it's not impossible to leave after all. There are many ways that adventurers could leave. So that's exciting. Jay, who
Okay.
are you going to be?
That's a really good question. One that the answer should start right now. It goes a little something like this.
This little ditty.
Yeah. Harlan, you and I were scheming a little bit today, so if I say something that's like, if we want to keep a secret potentially, okay,
Hey,
just
no,
go
you do
for it.
you. Whatever is
Just
most fun.
air horn on top of it.
Just Harlan goes, cream cheese,
exactly.
cream cheese,
Wow.
cream cheese.
So I was reading the Hereafter book and was looking at the trials, and I was thinking about maybe creating a character who has been through the trials once, twice, 3 times, 5 times, 20 times, who
Wow.
knows how many times anymore. And I keep failing and I keep coming back. And it's been so long now that my tether has like kind of dissipated. And what I was thinking was that the only thing left to me is from my tether is that I owe someone an apology and I have their name and that's it. And I don't remember why.
Ooh, I
Very
love that.
cool.
Nice.
Memento
So-
type.
Yeah,
character where
exactly.
you're, like,
Yeah.
Trying to
Um,
remember.
Yeah. So I think like the core concept I'm going to go after is that I've done the trials, but like I don't necessarily remember them. So I can go into it. And if if you need any plot points, then I can serve that purpose.
Just send them to you. This is
Yeah,
what I'm doing right
exactly.
now. It's fantastic.
I hadn't really considered class yet because I wanted to see what everyone else was doing.
That's perfect.
But it looks like we have a pretty even mix of like Erica's full caster, Joe is rogue, so like skills and martial, and then Gary, you're doing warlock. So I feel like I
Yeah.
can kind of do either strength based thing or martial or kind of whatever.
Absolutely.
So I was thinking maybe monk.
Oh,
Ooh,
sweet.
good thought.
Yeah, I was thinking monk. I had a list of like all of the classes that have to do with like spirits or something like that because I kind of want to play a character with like one foot in the grave. So I had ancestral barbarian, college of spirits bard, phantom rogue, astral self monk, and echo night fighter. And I think the monk might fit.
Ooh.
Astral
That's
Self
cool.
Monk?
Never
Yeah.
even heard of that one. What's that
Yeah.
one?
The flavor of it is that when you use your key points, you like get a second astral version of yourself to punch more.
Whoa.
I love it.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love
Do
the
it one
idea
of those
that
real life.
you've been in the hereafter so long and you've failed so many trials that maybe you've like kind of split in a
Yeah,
way. You know?
exactly.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. I love that.
Diverging.
I just love
Yeah.
the idea of taking all the energy to harness just everything around you to punch something harder in the face. That's it. And I love
Soul
it.
punching.
It's a very like a big roundabout way to just punch more.
Yeah.
Specialization.
Those all sound fantastic. And what we're going to do today at session 0 is, again, we're going to make those characters with you, the audience, alongside. We're also going to talk about more about what Hereafter offers. We're going to share some art of it. We're going to talk about what this sort of storyline and thread is, which is really exciting. So we all sort of have a rough idea. We're going to be starting at level 5 because most of our characters died at level 5. And when I said that, everyone got really excited. So clearly that's better. Which I get, because I realized, and I said to Joe, it's kind of like, oh, going back 2 levels
Sucks so
to play
bad.
would suck because you kind of already, you just want to push forward.
Yeah.
So So yeah, in the meantime, we'll start doing that. While we do that, I'll talk a little bit about Hereafter, the world, for those who are considering backing this on Kickstarter. Again, the link is in the description. Not every game in this campaign is going to be pushing so hard, but it launched today, and I want to make sure people can check it out because it's a really unique, fun way to sort of tack on something after you've TPK'd or killed some characters. And I think that's a really great way to view this. The actual module, as it were, has its own sort of set of universe and all that kind of stuff. But oftentimes, as a GM, I found myself in a situation where, the party may die or a character may die, and you necessarily don't want to lose them entirely. You still want to see more of that character. So having this in your back pocket is actually a great way to continue on your game, especially because at the end of this module, there's a chance for people to be coming back to where you left off. So if you were running a long-form campaign, a la Storm King's Thunder, and your party died that you're running through, and you're sad because you so desperately want to get back to there, and those characters were so important to the plot, slotting in this game essentially, and then moving back to it, back to a Storm King's Thunder, is a great way to sort of keep the ball rolling and make the consequences still feel dire. Although it'll probably only have a one-punch effect because you don't want to go back to the Hereafter after returning back to the real world. It gets really muddy at that point. So yeah, these characters are going to learn about this world, but for those who are interested in it, basically it is a large disc world set up into sections. In each section, there are keys or objectives, MacGuffins essentially, that 3 deities or demigods, I suppose, of the Hereafter are asking the characters to get, basically, to go fetch. And each of these deities has a really interesting sort of proposition for them, which again we're going to see in the campaign, so I don't want to give too much, but this is sort of what Jay was talking about when they were talking about their character having failed the trials, because each of these keys, each of these pieces of thing that they need to collect are sort of surrounded by trials that the campaign book outlines. So again, it's very easy to pick up and play, which is very fun, and partly what we're going to be showing in this video series as we go through the campaign. So yeah, that's just a little bit of stuff. In the meantime, how's everyone doing on their characters?
I am soft blocked, I guess, from going anymore because I had to.
You could download Sal in the campaign to keep Sal, and then rebuild another character over Sal within the campaign to have access to all the stuff.
I'm so confused. What are you talking about?
Because we were invited to a campaign at the very start of this with content sharing on D&D Beyond. So we have access to all the books. Oh, but if we build it outside of D&D Beyond, we won't necessarily have it all.
Can I just change my race? I think I can just change my race.
Yeah, you should be able to go in the builder thing, the anvil.
That's so easy. Oh, it's amazing. Thanks, guys.
This is so easy.
Snap.
I love using
D&D Beyond.
D&D Beyond.
Sponsored.
I was stuck, and now I'm not.
Thanks, D&D Beyond.
Erica would be a great spokesperson, though.
I would be. Oh,
You're so
God,
enthusiastic.
You don't even have to pay me. Just accidentally make something shiny shut up. I'll just start raving about it.
95% of the times we hang out with Erica afterwards, Harlan's like, that Erica. Something about her.
Expand on that. What do you mean?
It's the coffee.
It's always complimentary.
Oh, yeah.
Because that could come across very negative. It's always
No, it's always like...
If you say Erica's an enigma.
She's an enigma.
Yeah, because every time we play, like a little piece of information comes out, and I'm always like, I didn't expect that. I can't remember what.
The last thing we were talking about was like really specific lore about StarCraft 3 that
you read this. No, the StarCraft
books.
Yeah,
read the StarCraft. They were amazing. I really love them.
And I was just like, huh.
And I have very strong opinions about how StarCraft 2 deviates from them.
I know. I love that. It's fantastic.
Cool, Erica.
Just so interesting. So yeah, again, this campaign is sort of meant that you can build new characters starting at level 3, or you can be importing characters, and I'm pretty sure it spans everywhere from like 1 to 10, I believe. it sort of accommodates for, if I'm not mistaken, which is kind of an interesting take on it, as well as it starts off with a cool story by Kevin Andrew Murphy that sort of has, I guess it's like kind of a choose your own adventure. Right off the top, Kevin's written a short story that ends in you sort of choosing one of these three deities that I've spoke of. What do they call them? The triumvirate? Is that a right word? Triumvirate? I think it is.
Word. I like
That's
it.
a
Yeah,
$10
that is a
word.
word.
Good.
Harlan,
Yes.
Yes.
do I get to keep my ring of invisibility?
No. None of the super powered items I gave you guys at the end.
The only one you gave me, and I couldn't even use it because they were all robots. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I should make it clear that all three of those super powerful items that I gave you guys at the end, that was just like,
Remove item.
invincibility.
Encouraging us to go in guns a-blazing into a situation we could
we
never
all
win.
knew how it was going to end, so it was just sort of a matter of time. And I figured, let's play with some cool things while we're doing it.
Oh, man.
Because why
Oh,
not?
this is so good. I'm so
This
happy.
is cool.
Like those 32 hit points that did not help me.
It didn't hit you? They didn't help you?
They did not help me.
Oh.
They can't withstand to rocks.
Can't take them with you.
Can't take them with you. Gotta.
I'm lucky. Brea, I'm not changing her at all. So I'm just going to hang out, I guess.
At all?
Nope.
Not even her backstory now?
Well, I was thinking about changing her background from criminal to something else because I want to reflect
Hey.
more so that she's
That's a
come
neat
on an
idea.
adventure, right?
Yeah, there's actually a background from Curse of Strahd.
Haunted
called
one?
Haunted One.
Ooh.
I believe a pretty neat background. It says you're haunted by something so terrible that you choose not to speak of it. You tried to bury it and run away from it. Whatever this thing that haunts you can't be slain with a sword or banished with a spell. Basically, you get 2 proficiencies: Arcana, Investigation, Religion, or Survival. You learn 2 languages, which is awesome. Could be Abyssal, Celestial, Deep Speech, Draconic, Infernal, Primordial, Sylvan, or Undercommon. And then you get the Monster Hunter pack, which is always the best. And your feat is the Heart of Darkness. Those who look into your eyes can see that you have faced unimaginable horror, and that you are no stranger to darkness. Though they may fear you, commoners will extend you every courtesy and do their utmost to help you, unless you've shown yourself to be a danger to them. They will even take up arms to fight alongside you. So, that could be an interesting take as well, especially with your past. I'm sure you would be haunted by this.
Yeah. So maybe I'll switch out some of my skills and my background and whatnot.
Your skill proficiency.
Could I ask a very quick question?
Only if you ask it very slowly.
I will.
Only if you ask it like Matt Berry.
Oh, God. Okay, Harlan Guthrie, I have a question for you. So one of my otherworldly patrons can
really,
be...
really, really good.
It was so good.
My otherworldly patron can be the Undying, which I
Yeah.
think I have to pick because of what we're doing. But if there's a thing called Among the Dead, undead have difficulty harming me. Are the people here where we are? Do they qualify as undead? Is everybody here undead? Because that'd be good for
Good
Gary.
question. No, they do not. So the way the Hereafter works is that, yes, a number of people, heroes, adventurers that have fallen are brought here for a reason that will become clear. But portals have also opened here from other planes of existence, and creatures have just wandered through to the point where generations have also, existed here. One of the first places you'll meet, it will be a generational tavern type sort. But actually, Gary, that's a great point. We should work on your character together, or rather with the audience, so we can show one of these awesome character classes. So you've chosen Warlock, the Bone Speaker.
Yeah. This is actually still within D&D Beyond, but having joined using the stuff from the campaign we were in, I have access to so many otherworldly patrons.
Well, there you go.
I was going to do the Fiend, but the Undying is just like, or it could be the Undead. But I'm not undead.
The Undead.
I'm Undying.
So this one is, you're a warlock who communes with the spirit of
Yeah.
the dead, not the spirit of a dead person, but a being that embodies some aspect of death itself. Despite what some people think, some might think, the Bone Speakers are neither inherently good nor evil, as the passage from life to death, I think it's a typo, from life to death. This is an old version, by the way, so don't judge the typos. Befalls all beings regardless. The Psycho Pomp you have connected with Psychopomp, which is
What
an
a great
actual
word.
thing.
I didn't
Yeah.
like
Google it together.
How to
It's about
Google it.
it's a reaper.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
religious deity, a creature, spirit, angel. Great word. For that is the name of the being who shepherds the dead to the next world. May represent corpses or graveyards, or the crossroad that connects life to death, or a variety of other things related to the passage from life to death. So that's just sort of the quick breakdown. But let's see what you get.
I like these.
So yes, your false life, inflict wounds. Inflict wounds is great. It's like 3d10 or something, isn't it?
Just like, be hurt.
Yeah, you have to. I think it's touch. I'm pretty sure you have to touch them.
Yeah.
Be hurt.
Which is funny because I don't think chill touch is touch. I think it's actually
No.
ranged.
Yeah.
That's
What?
awesome.
That's a
Chill
road.
you from over here.
First level, you can learn Chill Touch. It counts as a warlock cantrip. It does not count against your cantrips known. What's more, you can cast spells that deal necrotic damage.
Ooh.
And you may add your charisma modifier to its total.
Having never played a warlock before, I'm finding a lot of the builds are like, you get a shitload of cantrips.
Yeah.
It seems you can get like lots and lots of them.
Yeah.
Because
kinda
you
cool.
don't you only have like 2 spell
Yeah.
slots or whatever.
True.
Like a baby wizard.
Sort of like a ranger, you know. At first level, you choose a patron. You gain the option to have a shadow as your familiar. That's awesome.
that's
I didn't
sweet.
realize that.
Cool.
So I guess you'll get like a shadow stat block, and you can just carry that around and put it in your little pocket, and
Nice.
just use it. Shadows are really neat, actually. Funnily enough. Ooh, and you could work this into your character if you wanted, Garrus.
I'm more than
But-
likely will.
You all fought a shadow. It was the first enemy you fought in the first campaign.
Wow.
You remember you went to
Cool.
that
Oh, the house. Yeah, the cabin.
Yeah, that was a shadow. So that's interesting. So maybe when you killed it, it like, you know,
It's been
got
waiting.
set somewhere.
Ooh.
It's been waiting.
Just to be
Oh,
like,
like it
dude,
can-
what's up?
If it can talk shit, but like we have to work together.
It can talk shit.
Yeah, just talk shit, and then you
That's
just have to deal
good.
with it. A begrudging familiarity. Malevolent the game.
Yeah, for real.
That's exciting though. That you get that, and then you don't get anything till 6th level again. Weirdly
Which is
enough.
next level for us.
That's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
Ooh.
Another reason why it was good to not go back.
Oh yeah.
No one goes back.
Nobody.
I want to get to 14th level.
Okay, let's do it. Let's go from
Get to
6
untie
14.
bodies from souls.
What? Read that for us.
Sick. I want to hear
So,
about that.
walking the crossroads, starting at 14th level, you gain the ability to untie the body from the soul. You may cast Etherealness, the Etherealness spell. Am I reading that right? Yeah, once a day. And at the 8th level.
Wow.
Whether or not you have a spell slot or Mystic Arcana at that level, when you cast this spell, you do so without using a spell slot. Once you have used this feature, you may not do so again until you've completed a long rest.
What's the etherealness?
I don't know. I'm
The Google machine.
Professor
Self.
Google.
It's long.
In your guys' last campaign, did you do level 1 to 5 over those 18 sessions?
Yes,
I think so, yeah.
Painfully.
we did
Oh,
wonderful.
you.
Painfully.
Painfully.
did-
I
It was
remember
loads
those
of
red
fun.
caps. Like that was just that was
They
mean.
literally kicked the shit out of us.
They were great though. Yeah.
Red caps are brutal.
I just want to commend you on how many times you like didn't kill us
I
out
just
of
want
luck.
to remind you guys
so
how that was
close.
totally not my fault.
Oh yeah,
I
Or
definitely
mine,
that was a
Didn't.
wonderful flashback. They were camping in the woods in a very dangerous part of the woods. Brea was on watch, saw something move, and then it ran away out of her peripheral. She followed it, and she found the ruins of something. Basically, and then she went back to bed.
It
Told
could have
nobody.
been. It could have been a bird.
Told nobody. Said nothing.
I
and then that
investigated
night,
and I didn't see
it
anything.
was so good though.
Everyone was sleeping. I wasn't gonna be like, guys, I think I saw a bird.
It's just like, okay, should we just
Was
go to
not
bed
my
then?
fault.
Smash cut to like 7 red caps, full speed running at the same
No
time,
one- No one
getting
could have
advantage
known.
on all the attacks because they're lying.
As
in
we're
the
lying
hills.
down, yeah.
It's really good.
How could you have known?
How
I
could I
will-
have known?
Do we count as long rested since we died? Is it a restful like sleep when you're dead?
Is
thing?
it a restful
Isn't
death?
that the final rest?
Your
Death is
fine
the
rest.
ultimate.
I'm
long
gonna
rest.
go ahead and assume yes because you can't make Jay be the only one who's like full health.
That's true.
That's not fair.
Yeah. No,
Or
you're all
can
back up
you?
to full.
Or can, yeah,
Dun,
he can.
dun, dun.
Too late. I'm long rested.
How's everyone's character creation going?
Pretty good,
So many
man.
choices.
I know.
Goodness.
Would you like us to help you nail some down?
Yes, why not?
By nail, I mean narrow. I don't know why I said nail.
I have these access to eldritch invocations.
Okay.
In my study of the occult lore, I've unearthed eldritch invocations, fragments of forbidden knowledge that imbue me with an abiding magical ability. So I can pick 3 of them because I have 2 level 2 options and a level 5 option.
What
Nice.
pact did you pick?
I picked nothing. It just says packed magic. I don't think I get a choice to pick, or I have to do that, and I haven't done it. It just says packed magic.
Because there's like the thing you pledge to, and then also
I
Like
wonder.
the-
Yeah.
like the
Let me see.
tome and the chain.
Yeah, it's not.
Tome chain.
Oh wait, though. Yeah, I can do that. Hold on.
Invocation? Is that what it's called?
Oh, so I picked Pact of the Tome
Sick.
because I got a book that gives me extra stuff. That's the only reason.
Love that.
That's my fave.
Love that for you.
Eldritch Blast is like one of these things I can do in the Pact boon. So I think I'll do that. Unless you get that anyway. I don't know.
I think there's a good invocation for Pact of the Tome that lets you do rituals casting,
Oh, yeah. Let me try to find that.
which is handy.
Oh, my goodness. Not guidance, is it?
So a few interesting things about the world of Hereafter while we're making characters. As I mentioned, you are going to have to receive these keys, as it were. If the person carrying that key should die, it goes back to where you got it, which is a very interesting
wow.
rule. Yeah, it's sort of like a
Oh.
video game in that aspect. So if you're like carrying it,
Dang.
It's a roguelike.
yeah, basically, right? Like it's got this like elements for like when you
That's
die,
great.
you
Which is actually great because Jay said that like if you go through the trials like a billion times, eventually you just kind of forget it. Which is the same as any retro game. You play it so many times, you really get so good at it, you forget to actually play it, and then you start getting really, really bad because you start
Yeah.
rushing it, and it's just
The
awful.
curve.
Yeah. So this is perfect all
get
around.
better at it. It's like Elder Souls. Wait, Elder Ring, Elden Scrolls.
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
It's like that thing that I
Yeah.
totally know and haven't
Played like
barely
20
played it.
hours.
I tried. I also mentioned these demigods. There's 3 of them that control this plane, essentially. And they're all going to be vying for your allegiance, sort of to be their, follower, as it were. Ultimately, all of this will come out in the first session, or perhaps later tonight. More likely later tonight, because I don't think character creation can take us that long.
Elder
Scrolls.
Soul power.
Okay, but there's Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Elder Scrolls, and Elder Tree.
Yeah.
Tree.
Elden Souls and
Doku
Elder Scrolls
Tree.
are different, right? They're completely different franchises.
Yes.
Yeah.
One is Morrowind, one is like Dark Souls.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
There you go.
Probably. I know video
That is
games.
right. I know games. So
But
good at them.
these demigods, again, are sort of competing with each other, too. So all 4 of you are going to have a choice, essentially, of who you decide to plot your allegiance with. And it will be interesting to see, based on what's happened previous, where you decide to go. I mean, we've seen a lot of character building with 3 of these characters, and more or less they've been pretty good, but we've seen some darkness from each of you, especially you, Garrus, with your tiefling horns.
Yeah,
I think
scary dude.
You've definitely had some fledgings of.
Yeah, there have been times where he like kind of reverted back to the not so nice person he was before.
Mm-hmm.
I always stabbed the guy through the eye, and Sal was like,
Yep.
That was the surprise dentistry one, right? That guy?
I think so, yeah.
And when you
Yeah.
killed a sleeping character.
Just to cast
Oh yeah,
Spare
I
the
hit
Dying on
him,
them.
yeah.
You killed him back to health.
to save the spell slot.
I will
him
say he
so
was
you
trying
cast.
to like help. He's like, I know, I'll headbutt him, bring him, and then kill him and bring him back to life.
But then you forgot you had horns, and as you headbutted him, and the horn went through his skull. You're like, oh, wait a minute.
We never saw him again, did we?
We did not.
He was back in like the place. He was in the city.
He's in Hythe, just chilling, you know.
Yeah.
Both eyes.
Elden Scrolls, Dark Ring, and Elder Souls, the lost trinity of RPG games. I love it. It's great. The Dark Ring.
Elder Soul Dark Ring.
I played the
Cool.
Dark Ring.
I swapped out some of Brea's skills and abilities. I changed my background.
Lay it on us.
I'm ready to go. I am now newly proficient in survival, which is kind of ironic considering I just fucking died.
Now you know. You've learned from experience.
Yeah.
And I've lost some of my acrobatics skills, perhaps through the rictus of death.
Rictus.
Yes.
That's a
Another
great
good word.
word.
Yeah,
let me
really
just
good.
Google it.
Robert Jordan used it a lot, like in a rictus grin.
Yeah, man.
Rictus. Okay, let me just Google Robert Jordan.
And
He wrote
Jay
that book
actually
about
mentioned
cars.
this archetype, but I've been a phantom rogue since level, I don't remember, 3.
Oh,
or something.
sick.
So I'm already there. I'm already doing all the tokens and the whispers of the dead and wails from the
Nice.
grave and whatnot.
Whispers of the Dead.
ready
and
for
wails from the
this.
grave.
Jay, you're gonna love Brea's tokens. They're the best thing.
Ooh.
Let me pull a tooth out of my head and give it to you.
Yeah.
I love it.
Have you thought of
I'm ready.
what race you're playing yet, Jay?
Yes, I forgot to say. I was looking at the Reborn, which is actually from the Ravnica book.
Sweet.
So it's kind of in the same vein of like one foot in the grave. It's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It is someone who has come back. But I feel like because even though that's sort of the theme of Hereafter, I feel like because I've done it so many times that it's just like really visible now.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a picture. Reborn. What does it look like?
What does your character look like? Do you have a concept sort of
Yeah.
figured out?
I'm thinking because you can change when you die, it sounds like. I feel like the character is going to have like elf ears, like maybe green skin, like just like carryovers from all of their lives of just
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
you know, so it's just
Fun.
like a real mishmash of stuff.
Like a monster head. that
You and
totally-
Sal are gonna get along.
Maybe
You
like a
suck.
tabaxi tail for that's totally
Ooh,
Fun.
useless.
I like the tabax.
It doesn't move. It just like drags on the ground.
Yeah.
behind you.
Oh,
Like a
you know what?
belt.
This works perfect because you have knowledge from a past life. You
Yeah.
temporarily remember glimpses of the past, perhaps faded memories from ages ago, which we'll just call, when you make an ability check that uses a skill, you can roll a d6 immediately after seeing the number on the d20 and add that. Oh, wow. That's
It's
neat.
cool, right?
Good.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Especially because you can use it after you roll.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, how are we doing on characters? Should we jump into the game? Should we start playing a little bit?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much done. I can fill it out later, but I'm gonna lean hard on Eldritch Blast. So everything I have picked is all related to Eldritch Blast. So I have Eldritch Spear, Agonizing Blast, Grasp of Hadar, and I have
Grasp
Eldritch Adept Feet, and I have Repelling Blast. So when I
Man.
cast, one of them lets me bring you closer to me when I cast Eldritch Blast. The other one pushes you away.
Oh my god, you're scorpion.
I like this. Garrus,
Yeah,
You
come
were
get
a-
over here, please.
Garrus was like, you were kind of a fucking evil, badass dude, and then you tried your best
He
to
did.
turn it around to embrace religiosity, to become a paladin. You were like, I'm not going to use my fucking smiting powers. I'm
Never did.
I'm gonna try my best.
Might have forgotten
And
you
it-
were there.
Failed. We died.
Oh yeah.
You did
For
you did
what?
bad, and now you're like, you know what?
What?
Time
Damage.
to start blasting people.
I love it.
Just
Stop blasting.
exploding people left
Cool.
and right.
Well, I would say without further ado, oh look, Jesse's ready. So
Yeah.
without further ado, let's launch into a little bit of this game and find out exactly what's in store
Woo!
in the hereafter. Dun, dun, dun. You have died. What awaits you in the hereafter? A pastoral valley, apparently. When you first arrive in this region, you find yourself in a long, narrow valley with almost impossibly sheer cliffs on either side. The flat valley floor features a winding river, dotted with clumps of mostly coniferous trees. In the distance, farmlands can be seen, crowded atop a low plateau with what looks to be small buildings on it. The air here is cool and crisp, refreshing. You hear the rustling of tall grass all around you. For a second, you're sure you're dreaming. And when that second passes, you sit up. The breeze stirs your hair softly, and you look around. The golden field that you lie within is unlike anything you've ever seen. Where you've come from, Asora, was dark, dismal, depressing, blackened trees filled with rot, ancient and old, but not here. Something about this place screams life, screams a second chance. And as you scan the top of the tall grass, you lock eyes with some familiar faces. Brea, you see Garrus sitting up, an equal puzzled expression on his face, his large tiefling horns sort of catching the morning light. And beyond him, you see at least the upper half of Sal.
There's like grass growing just to Sal's shoulders. A grasshopper lands on my knee and I'm startled. I like smack it off of me.
Yeah, you kill a grasshopper, take
Look
20d6.
Oh no.
And beyond Sal, one last visage sits up, almost as if in a line. They look very different, unlike anyone you've seen before. Jay, who's Brea looking at?
Well, I think you see a very small humanoid person. Upon first glance, they do seem to be human, but as you continue to look, you start to see some pointed ears, perhaps elven lineage, and the skin color just seems a little bit wrong. It's maybe green, like orcish, but it looks pretty pallid, pretty ill, sickly. You notice a long, limp tail sprouting from them. And I think above all, you notice that she's just kind of looking around and she's kind of discovering this along with you and taking all of it in. And there's a bit of a frustrated look on her face, but I don't think she acknowledges anybody around her yet.
Amazing. It seems to be just the four of you in this field. Garrus, you look to both your right and your left. You see two familiar faces, one less familiar. Sal, what do you do?
Sal, I think, was last. If we didn't die in pain, I'm assuming that those rocks were very quick about it. I imagine he's sort of blinking awake, a little disoriented, and sitting up, and then going to stand. And as soon as he stands, he feels a weird, kind of like a sleep behind him. Like his legs aren't quite moving. But that feels exactly like he is when he's in wolf form. So he goes as if he's a wolf to stand up on all four legs, but then he suddenly flops forward because for some reason he still has arms. So then he goes back to both, and then finally, after just a few tries of that, you're going to see a little floppy going on. Just the slow look of what is happening there, and then the slow pivot back to seeing a stranger. And then just a slow pivot again to the other two, and just the eyes.
The Raven Mocker. Did we
kill? Are you all right, Sal? Are you not finished shifting or something?
The eyes.
Oh dear.
We're, hello, we're, and
Oh.
I'm addressing Jay's character. Were you in the cavern?
Huh?
What happened?
Did we kill it? Did we win?
Did you kill it? I don't know. I don't even know where I am. I just oh shoot. Oh dang, I think I did it again. Cavern, you say?
Yes.
I don't remember seeing you in a cavern, nor do I remember being in one.
Oh.
This-
Very large eyeball? Not ringing any bells?
Not immediately, no.
Oh dear. Well,
You did it though, Garrus, right?
I think so. I jumped onto it. I shoved the sunstone into it. I felt it go through, and then it just black. I don't remember anything after that. Just waking up here. I think I did
Are
it.
you okay?
You're
Sal?
looking very poorly.
Just Sal like
I
kind of
have-
flopping forward and backwards in the background.
Some concerns at the moment.
Sal?
And I think he's just gonna. He's figured out enough that if he tries to move his legs as if he's in wolf form and then just kind of push himself up with his hands, he can sort of balance back into a weird upright position.
So endearing.
Garrus will like hold out his hand in an attempt to like, oh, don't worry, I'll heal you, don't worry, and then just like looks at his hand and is like, oh wait, never mind then, and like just realizing he doesn't have access to that magic anymore.
Yeah, how does that feel? Is it like something that you know instinctively, or you try it, or
I think for a second he was like, maybe I can heal Sal, and like goes to do it, and then it's like, wait a minute, why would you do that? You can't do that. That's not what you do. And in his head he's like, oh yes, and then is like, almost like like in those films where like a whole ton of memories come back right at once.
yeah,
Everything about what he is now registers, and he's like, oh. And then he'll look up to Jay's character and be like, I'm Garrus, by the way. This is Sal and Brea.
Hi.
Who are you? This is crazy. This is very strange.
Yeah. It's real nice to meet you. My name is well shoot. I don't rightly remember what my name was.
Took a bump on the noggin, did you?
I think so. I mean, well, I'm pretty sure I died. I've done this before. You can call me Cassidy.
Cassidy, you died, you say?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It looks like y'all died too. I mean, you look a little unfamiliar with your, with everything. Is it your
Sal's
first time?
just flopping around.
Your friend is right floppy over there.
Sal was a
it takes a
little
lot of
floppy
ab
before.
muscles.
I feel like he can try and he has enough of what's going on to be like, okay, this half will do wolf, this half will do half orc. I feel like he will have steadied himself enough, at least to be in an upright position and say, well, this has been lovely. I've been here for 2 minutes and I would like to go home now. As I said, I would like to go home many times on our way here. Hello, goodbye, my friends. I'm leaving.
But Sal, we don't know where we are.
That is a problem that we can solve. And that I will solve now.
Great.
You've been here. You're here. You are here. You're here.
Me?
Where are we?
Yeah. Well, this is typically where I wake up after I've been deceased.
How many
That's
times
not
have you
helpful.
been deceased?
I'm sorry,
At
are
least.
you that we're in the afterlife?
Well, yeah. Well, sorta. I mean, it's not exactly the afterlife and not exactly the former life either. It's kind of right in between.
Oh dear.
Fuck. Oh, so you're not from... This is like your first time coming to... Oh boy, this is kind of exciting. And also, I'm sorry for your loss of your corporeal bodies.
And many other things!
Oh yes, Sal, you've got a raw deal. Well, actually, you're quite dexterous now, I'd imagine. You've got 4 legs. You're very fast, aren't you? Sal, this might be a very indecorous thing to ask. Like, if I put a saddle upon you, if we now, I don't have to. We can bring this up later about the whole saddle thing, but it would work. I think it would work. Not the point. Not the point. We're dead. Apparently, that sucks.
Sal, are you like pacing around? You sort of said you're walking off.
No, he's just standing in one spot.
Yeah.
He managed standing up, and that's it. And
I feel like from your
just
vantage point, you actually can see that this golden field of tall grass, it is sort of overlooking a cliffside too that lays down towards this valley. Again, these two massive sheer cliffs sort of create this long veil that stretches on before you.
Brea's like running her fingers through the grass and looking off down the valley. I dreamed of this place. I remember.
What the fuck was that?
Sorry.
That scared the crap out of me.
I tried to
Red
wake
caps
up
come
my
out of
stream,
nowhere.
but I meant to do this.
There we go.
that's very different.
Continue your empowering speech.
I dreamed of this place. I remember when we were in Astora. I woke up and there was a feeling of peace that lingered. But you said this isn't the afterlife. What? So what are we meant to do?
Well, that's a very convoluted question, I would think. I think you're supposed to do whatever you'd like to do, but I think that you're going to have some influence from the demigods from around here. Yeah. Demigods. Yeah. They don't get too involved. Well, they do, but they don't. It's hard to explain. Geez, I haven't met someone who wasn't from around here in a very long time, so you'll have to excuse me if I need to roll an insight check to remember something.
No, and it's a great point, Cassidy. You have woken up many times in this field, but you've noticed a severe lack of new adventurers in what you can only imagine might be years. And for that reason alone, the demigods, but you sort of, when you first arrived here, you remember getting a pitch from each of them. But either through failing so many times or whatever, they've sort of just pulled off. And with your memory the way it is, it's almost faded into the background, exactly the specifics of it. But I kind of picture it like Groundhog Day in a little way for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like
It's all blurred
constantly
together.
Yeah.
repeating. Yeah.
You have COVID time loss. Every day is the same.
Too real.
Really?
And yeah, there's a moment between the four of you where share knowing glances and sort of like the reality of what Cassidy's saying is settling in, and it feels honest. It feels authentic. It doesn't feel like a trick. It feels like something that makes sense, as weird as that sounds. And as you scan the horizon and sort of study these cliffs, you notice that sort of around this field, maybe a couple miles just down what must be the ongoing wheat fields that just border this tall grass, there seems to be a small building. You can only make it out over the crest of the small hill because of the billowing smoke that comes out of a chimney. You're not worried so soon.
All right. Well, this has been nice. I'm going to go there. The rest of you can join me if you like. Garrus, for the saddle, if we weren't already dead, I would kill you.
I feel like that's fair. That is, I shouldn't have asked that so soon.
I'm glad we could come to that mutual understanding.
My interest hasn't waned in the idea, but I do realize it was not good of me to suggest it.
Well, the fact that we aren't in the afterlife still leaves me hope to send you there later. With that said,
I won't even.
I am on my way to this home.
Yes.
Join me or not.
I think it's the logical. Cassidy, is that building dangerous, or have you been to this particular part before?
It's probably fine.
That's
Good enough.
Better than what we used to, rely on back when we were alive.
Sal, I'm sorry. I was the one who said that we should not sneak and just press on in, and that time was of the essence. And I'm sure if we had taken our time, we wouldn't be here.
Oh, Brea, don't blame yourself for that. I told you not to touch the robot.
I mean,
What I'm trying to say,
Much
Sal,
earlier than
is
that.
that mistakes were made, and I apologize for them.
Well, I'm glad to see you accept that. And I welcome the step towards that atonement. And now I will take several steps with all 4 of my legs towards this house.
Great. Okay, let's go. I was just trying to say that maybe because we're stuck in this, whatever this place is together, that we could get off on the right foot. She
Or
looks down
4?
pointedly at your feet.
How dare you?
Fine.
For some reason, I picture Nigel Crane saying that as a reaction. How dare you?
We stalk off together.
Yeah, I feel like there's an air of hostility between Sal, and everybody else right now. As you begin walking towards,
Pretty
what marching
standard,
order
then.
are you taking?
Ooh.
I would think it's hilarious, honestly, if you all rushed ahead of him, but he's going to have to take a little... He's not going to be first right now. He's doing his best.
Garrus will attempt to like help and see if Sal accepts it. You know, he did just suggest putting a saddle on him, but he'll be like, "Need a hand?" I mean, I like, how much taller than us is Sal, or is Sal roughly the same height they were?
That's a great question. How tall are you?
As a half-orc, he was 6'2". As
Shorty.
a merging of that with a... Well, let's see how tall the wolf
Well, you
was.
have dog feet.
I do have dog feet.
Yeah,
But
that's
dire
short.
dog feet, aren't they?
Let's see. If I go
think
to
that would
dire
hurt.
wolf,
That'd be a lot
dire
of
wolf is a
weight.
large wolf. It's a large beast. So I'm gonna say, can I go 7.5-ish? Can I do like
course.
awkwardly tall? Yeah, there you go.
Sure.
It's the torso starting at like the rib cage of a wolf. So
You're
it's
right, though.
That,
It would be like planking constantly.
Yeah.
You do need the core strength
That's
to
what I'm
keep up.
Yeah.
Especially with not being like you'd constantly be like,
Because your vertebrae is going like this.
yeah.
Yep. And then I have to remember to actually move all 4 legs at a time without moving the arms because they're not related
You
to
see Sal
walking
just
right
like
now.
thinking. They're like,
You're going to have to take up some sort of stretching routine in the morning at least.
Oh,
so I picture Garrus and Sal at the back, and
Yeah.
Sal's like learning how to trot.
After Brea and Sal's moment, Brea's going to go up again.
Yeah,
Stupid.
I picture maybe Cassidy and Brea sort of walking together side by side, and it's a little bit away.
Sorry, Michelle just posted. Great.
I love that picture.
The trouble with centaurs, so you know how colts can run almost right away after they're born, but babies can't even hold their own heads up for a long time.
Fair.
This is the most perfect thing ever. That is the most artist rendition I've ever seen in my life.
Just imagine this floppy shit human on top of like.
I'm so happy. That's made my day so much better.
That's great.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Oh wow.
I laughed so hard that I snorted and scared my pup.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, so Brea's up ahead,
Beautiful.
walking beside this this cobbled together looking person, Cassidy. Well, I guess I'm confused. I feel real enough. I have my stuff. I have like my backpack and everything. What? I don't get it. This isn't what I was told it would be like when you die. I was told that we become star stuff, that we get to be with our ancestors. This is just a valley. I don't. Did you not have any other hopes for yourself that you ended up here? Oh, no, sorry. Everything is all coming so fast. I guess, how do we make polite conversation here? How did you die?
Oh, geez, I don't remember. Well, one time I died because fallen rocks fell and hit me.
Me too.
That's happened
Really?
to us before.
That was us.
You too?
Well,
Oh
there
my
was
God.
there was this like a demon spider woman who I was not doing great against also. So there was like combat.
Haven't you ever always wanted to be a demon spider? King?
Yes.
One of us may have been.
Yes, I have. They said I couldn't.
Well, yeah,
Spider loyalty.
I don't rightly remember how I died this last time. I remember a couple of the times before, but it all kind of becomes a blur. But to be honest, I mean, this place is kind of nice, and I keep going through the motions, and I don't really know why, but I have to hope that it's better than where I was before.
So you keep coming back here.
Yeah, I keep coming back.
And I feel like there's a moment, maybe you stop to have Sal and Garrus catch up, where you begin to feel the warmth on your skin, Brea. And again, where you three came from, it was a cold, desolate place comparative to this, where the ground is rich and fertile. And as you look out over this valley, which is gleaming with light, you feel
It's
sort
just
of
beautiful.
the breeze over you and the rustle of the trees. Off to your right, there's a waterfall coming down from one of these sheer cliffs, and a river below this small little jut that sits out in the building that's just before you. Seems to really be inviting. The smell of wood smoke on the air almost
Sal's not going to fit through that door. That was
makes
so
you
small.
smile. It looks good. No, it's good. And as you sort of all trot up, well, you all walk up, one trot.
One of us trots up.
And you see, there's actually a boy out front. He's just throwing stones at a tree.
As you
Not
do.
in like a shitty way. He's just kind of being
Do we
cute.
get like flashbacks to when we were shot by boys in trees?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or by
Yeah,
rocks.
it's the same kid. He's like, hey.
He's actually
No.
two of our worst fears right there. Boys shooting things
Boys
and
and
rocks.
No, you see this plateau and looking over the valley, and again there's corn and wheat on the other side, and this inn, it looks like, as you can see it. Just outside the door, there's a placard that says inn.
I do have a question.
Straight
about
to the
wheat.
point.
Okay, I have an answer about the wheat. Lay it on
Is
me.
the wheat purple
Oh,
and sticky?
is it
like
the
was
sticky
at
wheat?
Hype? Yeah.
Great question. No, it is not.
Different wheat.
Different wheat.
We're putting it together.
Is Sal still trying to do that? Like, or is it like a reflex? You're like, oh, different wheat. I'm not going to take it.
Now-
Or are you
now
like-
It
he's
is a
just
reflex. Which also, on that note, Brea mentioned having our stuff. Do I have my
I just
stuff?
presumed we have it.
Yes, you have all of your stuff, save those super powerful magical items that you had at the end.
Those were consumed by
Because you
the
used them,
evil being.
they consumed them.
But my jewel that I'm bringing back home. Harlan, don't you do this to me.
Wasn't there moss as well you had?
Sal is having a terrible day.
Moss is in the jewel.
Great question. I think there's a moment where you panic because you haven't checked for your jewel yet.
I would like to
feel like-
stop and check for my jewel.
Yeah, you start looking around for it, like check your bag.
But I mean, how could you be
Jay,
fully
put-
clothed? Are you like a Hulk when he transforms? Like, do you,
like
your
I like
trousers
that
are
you
surely
said
gone.
a Hulk, not the Hulk, but a
She's
Hulk.
so-
And there's like a race of Hulks. Are you
She's-
like a Hulk when you do
So
that?
what I
She's
usually
got,
do
like-
is I wear my robes. But now that I'm taller, they've lifted. So I've got like a mini skirt of robes.
okay.
Half cape.
Very cute.
Yeah,
very,
it's very
in.
nice.
I was picturing like cargo pants pockets made of flesh, like a
kangaroo
kangaroo.
pouch?
Yeah, because you're like
Oh.
half transformed.
That would have been so useful in so many scenarios. That's how I know I don't have them.
That is be great to have in life, wouldn't it?
But
Yeah,
Jay,
we'll
just to
say-
catch you up on what was going on, Sal
is
on
really
his
important,
quest to
Erica.
find
So
something
important.
for his friends, came across this ambrosia, this beautiful ambrosia cut gem with little flecks of ancient moss inside of it. He'd never seen it before. It looked palatably beautiful. So he took this
From the
beautiful
party.
jewel from the party.
As I recall, I
accepting
found it and just gave it to you, and you're like, "This is mine now forever."
accepting
Oh,
that
this-
responsibility, and I
You didn't
completely
give it-
Valuable
you didn't give it
gem.
to Sal. You were just like, Sal, what do you make of this? And Sal was like,
I think it's
great.
mine.
And since then, he's taken it with him for the express purpose of bringing it back home to split it amongst his friends. If he
break
can't
the
find
gem
3
into
others,
pieces.
yes, he will be smashing them
Oh,
into
yeah.
4 pieces and then
Ooh.
giving it to them.
I think you have it, but I wonder if it broke.
Oh,
Because
almost.
I can work with that.
Well, because you essentially broke because you were mid transformation. You
That's
know,
true.
like I think the gem broke, but I'll let you decide how and where and all that kind of stuff. So Sal,
Roll a
yeah,
D4
you
for
Are you
search
gonna make me
for
roll
it.
for pieces?
No, just have play play Jezebel.
A D100.
What do you find?
Oh no.
I mean, if I have the robe with me, and if I actually, like, let's say as I was being crushed, there was a block that landed directly on it. And it landed in that weird way where it shatters and you get the flat little sliver pieces. And then
maybe there's a
kind of
piece
cracks
in you.
Could be. I
Like
would
as
be
part of
stabbed
your
by that.
arm.
Yeah,
But
but
no,
you transformed, right? So like,
But it was in
I
a
kinda
pocket,
think-
though.
I mean, put it this way: what is more valuable to Sal than this thing? And having that stuck in you, at least a piece of it. I think a piece of it has to be in
The
you.
gem was in
Because
you.
there's
all
something really cool about Sal being literally obsessive about this thing and then finding out that it's inside of you.
Like in The
Is it-
Fly.
Well,
you
that's my
transform.
then that's my question. Let me do it this way: Is it possible that the stone also regenerated or resurrected into one piece, but it's now inside, like half on me, like a little weird?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's like a
it's like the
a
fifth
troll
element
doll.
where you like, oh yeah.
It's like a troll doll.
But it's
So
just
it's-
in your fucking butt.
But it's in your butt. No, not your butt.
Is it like? I feel like it'd be the same
Sorry.
place and like mirror pocket. So it'd be like it's a weird mash on my hip.
Honestly, I would be down if you wanted to be in a cooler place. Like if you wanted to be like center chest or center forehead or some
myself.
shit. Just to be cool.
That'd be
Because I
pretty
think that's cooler than on your side. If you want on your side, I'm happy with that.
I feel
like,
like
I
it's gotta be
know-
on my side. Like that's the only way that would make sense.
Well, but I could also see Sal in that last moment before he died, pulling this thing out and like looking at it, right? Which then kind of gives you justification for it smashing on you as you get crushed by rocks or like whatever. Whatever makes sense to you, I'm happy with. But I'm also willing and excited if you want to put it somewhere cool, you know?
Okay, I have let me know if this is okay. It could be like just underneath the skin, maybe like in place of it, so it's very visible.
Yeah.
But in a place where an organ would have been, like kidney area.
Ooh, yes.
So
You got a
somehow they're
gem
both
kidney.
they're hanging out. Yeah. So this is a whole of like,
Love it.
oh, I'm giving a gift to my friends. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm happy. I clap too. I'm that happy.
Yeah, you can like see it. You can like see it's like, I guess, I mean, your skin's not translucent, but we'll say part of like the transformation. There's like an area between the wolf and the orc that's like kind of thin, right? Like it just kind of looks thinner and you can see it. You like search for it and then you see it in your skin.
I can imagine feeling it first, feeling it up there and trying to be like, well, where's it in the pocket? I don't see it in the pocket. And then having to like slowly just lifting up the rope.
Gems are inside me. The stones. Oh, that's why you're referencing.
That's
Fifth
why I
Element.
said Fifth
I
Element.
get it now.
The stones are in me.
The stones are in me.
You sound just like her.
She does have like a weird, like dying voice.
Like an old woman.
Her performance is so cool, though. It sounds like
Yeah,
it's
but then she sounds like
like
she's
layered.
84
The
years old.
stones are in me.
Stones are in me.
She just finished giving a beautiful vocal
was very
performance.
good.
She's very tired.
She's great.
She's got fucking sorry.
So many stones in a tiny, like, humanoid being.
Small woman.
So that's how we know it can fit.
Aw.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So,
that's-
another problem that he's going to have to solve.
So what do you do when you realize this, though?
It's a bit of a relief. Like it's an instant relief knowing that it's there. Immediately, yes, exactly that is going to be happening once I'm back. If it's not out of me already, this is the ultimate kidney stone. Ha ha ha! Anyway,
You laughed so loud. It's great.
I like how it's the ultimate, like, this is the best kidney stone that there ever was.
it is. So he has it there, and then there's the thought of like the panic when he actually sees where it is in his body, and then realizing this is going to hurt at some point later, and then just not thinking about it anymore.
You
than that.
compartmentalized.
Back to the cabinet. Yes,
I love it.
Very
Perfect. So
focused.
yeah, the four of you arrive out front of this inn. Again, it sits on this plateau overlooking the valley. You've passed a few small stone buildings. You know, it does seem like people occupy this area. There's this small village, obviously. And as you look at this building, it's a simple affair. Large granite blocks for a foundation, field stone for the first floor walls, and then it looks like wattle and daub on the second floor. And again, these beautiful dark oaken shutters, they stand open. The breeze, wafting in. It's so inviting and warm feeling. You can sense almost that scent of firewood on the wind. What do you what do you each do?
Garrus will ask Cassidy, have you been here before? Have you seen this place before?
Almost certainly. I'm trying to rack my brain, just trying to conjure if I met someone here. I'm sure I did. I've been here before, but it's just hard to remember. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
I feel so bad for Cassidy. I love this character, by the way. This is fantastic. It
great.
reminds me of something from, I don't know why, but it reminds me of something from Over the Garden Wall. Like something about like the sort of nervousness of like Wirt from that.
You can't tell if she's not telling you the full truth because she doesn't know or because she doesn't want to tell you.
Yeah. It's really
But also
sweet
so
and
casual
endearing.
about what we're doing and where we are, and we're just like, what is going on? What
Yeah,
happened?
screaming
Oh,
constantly.
yeah, you're probably dead. It's no biggie.
probably dead.
I've been dead loads of times. Should be better at it by now.
Perfect. So,
I mean, I
Dude,
suppose
that's so good at being
we,
dad.
we can get more information here.
Yes, probably a place to sit down at least, you know.
Do we
Just said boulders
drink,
filling
eat,
us.
and drink? I feel hungry.
I feel like I could eat something.
Well,
try?
let's have lunch, I guess.
Post-death lunch.
Right?
have-
That's a very weird sentence.
We don't have to, but we can just. We can.
I think
you
we
hear the
deserve
boy
a
who's
sandwich.
throwing rocks. He's like overhearing you and he says, "Don't have lunch because you died. Celebrate life." He just like throws the rock at his tree. Like doesn't even look.
I opened the door of the inn.
We're not dealing with that either.
Bullshit. Yeah, you see
Weird
within
idioms.
a fairly simple tavern. There's a bar along the left side, dozen small tables or so filling the room, a simple staircase hugging the wall opposite the bar on the right. Looks like it leads to the second floor. And sorry, go ahead.
Do we know this bar?
Good question.
Because I hear you describing, maybe a standard layout, but a familiar layout that we've gone through before.
Yeah.
Are you accusing Harlan of
Are
being.
you saying that I'm lazy and repurposing?
Uncreative.
I think you're being very intentionally clever and tormenting us.
Why don't you give me an insight roll?
Is there a
I would
really
love to.
unfriendly bartender?
I mean, I'm friendly to certain people. I have an 11, so I don't know. I wasn't
And
in
you
the
don't
bar
know.
very much. I got,
You're
I
kinda
got a
like-
19, but I wasn't wondering anything about it, so
Oh,
I'll give Sal the help action and be like, oh, Sal seems to be thinking about something, and I did mention a saddle earlier, which was rather rude.
yeah. You notice that Sal is sort of studying the bar nervously. It seems like it could be familiar, but no, nothing about it seems overtly similar to what you've experienced before.
Is there anyone inside?
Yes, there are a few people sitting around. In fact, as you enter, there's a woman, human woman in her mid-50s, friendly sort of demeanor. She's scrubbing down the bar as she looks towards you and nods. She's standing behind it. And there's a few people sitting at some tables. And additionally, you see three very interestingly dressed people sitting around the fireplace. One wears a green sort of silken gown. Green leather. One wears a armor, a thick plate mail. And the last is wearing gray robes. They pay you no mind at first, but the woman behind the bar sort of nods warmly to you. Come in, welcome, welcome, she says, and sort of points to the opposite side of the bar.
Okay.
All right.
We should go. Sal is going to approach as steadily as he can, because anyone who's beckoning towards him right now is a friend.
You got like little lamb legs. You're like
Yeah.
doing the Bambi.
Well, he's doing a good job. I'm very proud of him. And I can see him getting as close as he can right now and kind of maybe having to crouch down or whatever. He'll figure something out. He'll lower himself in some way. And then asking the lady behind the bar. He does.
Sure do.
Madam, I would like to leave this land. Where are we? How help?
Yes. have a seat. It'll be all right, love. She like touches the back of your hand and says, listen, you're not the first to walk in here. In fact, Cassidy, nice to see you again. It's been a few years, but welcome back.
Thank you.
She like doesn't miss a beat, and you see the fear on Cassidy's face. A lot of adventurers used to come your way through the front of the inn. My name is Brenna Melander. This is my inn with my husband and my boy. You might have seen him out front. Hopefully he hit the tree more times than he missed. She kind of laughs to herself. You're in a place called the Hereafter. It's where many people like you who've died come. All right, she says, sort of waiting for it to wash over, not realizing that Cassidy has sort of already prepped you on this. And after studying your faces, she sort of realizes that you pieced it together, and she steps back a little bit. Pieced it together, then, have you? You're not the first, but I'm impressed, to be honest.
Yes, I'm sorry, Brenna. You'll have to excuse us. I guess you're used to people coming in here. What? So this is the first stop on the road to where exactly?
Well, that's what everyone tends to want to know. Where are they heading? Well, let me just put it this way. Dear, and she looks at you, Sal, and says, there is a way home, at least to
Yes!
some people.
Good. Today's improved already.
That was emphatic.
And like you see like the murmur at the table sitting next to you sort of like looks over and they're kind of like
Waiting for the down on this pill.
yeah. And she's like, well, yes, I'm glad you're excited about that. But again, not many people that we know have managed to make their way out of this place. Look, I'm happy to answer any quick questions you want, but then they'll want to speak to you. And she gestures to the three at the fire, and immediately, like all four of you look over at them, and you see that the three of them are now staring at you. But they're kind of waiting, they're sort of in hushed conversation. The one in the green leather sort of holds a hand up to wave, but gives you space and time.
Are you dead?
Am I dead? No. No, I did die, but try not to think of those people in the Hereafter as dead, because they're really not. See, your body, I'm not sure if Cassidy's mentioned this, but knowing her, she probably did, is still back where you left it. Your soul, if you'd like to call it that, has its own flesh and blood here, which means you'll need a place to sleep and food to eat and water to drink and to make your daily constitutions out back. There's no way to really wrap your mind around this in the conventional sense, other than to understand that everything here matters, just as it did wherever you came from. I was unlucky, like you, but my boy out there, and she points, again, looking past the front window, he was born here. And me husband, he also passed away, and I met him here. But there's a lot of folks here that are their own existence, that this is all they know and all they really want. So be mindful about who you go drawing steel against before you do.
I meant no disrespect.
No, and none taken. Listen, these questions I've been asked many, many times, but as I said, not in a long while. These are completely normal questions.
And Darius like pointed himself to be like, who are they? There's three you pointed at earlier.
Ah, yes. Well, that would be Sir Ignatius. She points to the one in plate mail. The older dwarven knight. And you again see he's got this sort of gray beard. He's got this furrowed brow. And as he, locks eyes with you, you see that on his chest, he has a flame embroidered on his plate mail. Next to him there, that's Janelle Ara. And you see this elven woman with a staff in green and brown leather. She nods, kind of hearing from across the room. And that would be Brother Giannis. He's a priest. And you see again this bald, dark-skinned human priest in these gray robes. Again, he nods as well. Only the dwarf seems to not really nod. They'll be wanting to speak with you as representatives of the triumvirate.
All right.
Okay, I guess.
You've been helpful as always.
Yes, Cassidy, I do hope that you had better luck this time. And by the way, and she reaches under the bar and she sort of brings up this box. And she sort of nervously just talks to you and sort of leans away from the others. I don't know if you remember, love, but a few times ago you wanted me to hold on to this. And she like reaches in and has a parcel and hands it to you. Again, just for keeping. If you'd like, I can take it back, but you said next time you show up to give it back to you. And she speaks to you with sort of a softness, motherly almost, that sort of gives you the impression that you've met her maybe more than a dozen times and that she's familiar with you being forgetful.
Well, Brenna, how could I forget you? And thank you for keeping a hold of this. I'm sure that whichever me left it for me, intended to take it this time. And thank you.
Of course. Like she's like, again, nodding, like even as you say the words, you can tell she's like heard the exact version that you said.
Oops.
And she's kind of like, yes, of course. No, it's completely. She speaks with pure, genuine care and love. And with an arched eyebrow, she turns to the rest of you and says, again, if there's any other questions, I'll happily answer them, but they'll want to speak to you newborns.
I'll have one more question.
Yes.
Brenna, I don't know if you've noticed, but I am in a bit of a bind here. I am a half-orc. I seem to not have taken that with me on my travels to where we are. How would I go back?
Well, I hate to say, but I think you were a half-orc. And it doesn't look like you are anymore. But that's not for me to say. I've never been able to make it back. And to my knowledge, not many have, if any. Regardless, the room has plenty of beds, so you'll at least have the next week. Cassidy, again, you have a room here. I don't know if you remember, but it's the last door on the right.
Right, yeah.
Floor.
Oh, of course I remember. Thank you so much for reminding me. But
and she like taps to the leather pouch, keys in the front.
Right. Yes. Thank you.
And then she leans over and sort of hand waves, and you hear the shuffling of boots. Best you go them in case anyone needs me at the bar. And she gestures for you to head over there, and then she, grabs a piece of wood and a knife as she's been whittling away, and continues scratching notches off the wood as you hear the gruff dwarf clear his throat over by the fire.
Suppose we go talk to these representatives of the, I don't know, pineapple
Triumvirate?
Triumvirate. All right.
Yeah. Those are the spokespeople of the demigods that I was mentioning.
I love how you just rattle that off so wonderfully. Like, that was perfect. And then I think,
if I recall,
So they're rather important then.
yeah, as far as I remember. Yeah.
All right.
All right, then.
Yeah,
So
you
just
head
walk
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
You head over, and almost ceremonially, you see that there are a number of chairs set out. It's really tough not to make the comparison to like a timeshare, where they're like, listen,
That's
here's
awesome.
our pitch. But more or less, it's sort of a fantasy version of that. You see
Like a
there's like a little
PowerPoint.
offshoot. Yeah, and the three of them stand sort of shoulder to shoulder. And the dwarf, Sir Ignatius, speaks first. Hello. Welcome, newborns. And he gets kind of a nudge by the elven woman. Some people call you newborns, not me. Just fell off the tongue. Hi, Cassidy. Listen, I'm not sure how much she mentioned, but we're representatives of the triumvirate.
the demigods of this plane of existence.
We got that far.
Nailed it.
Yes.
Good, good, good.
And he looks towards the elven woman, who sort of clears her throat. We each represent the 3 demigods. And to put it bluntly, we hold the answers to how you may return to your mortal shell. We have a way, and you can leave this place. But in order to do so, says the last man, you must pledge your allegiance to one of our gods. It is not an easy decision. We understand that you will have questions, but we will happily answer any.
How do we pledge allegiance?
How fast can I do it?
Now.
The 3 of our gods are very different in what they desire of you and what they can offer you. But all want to allow you to exit this place. No matter whom you decide to align yourselves with, know this. There are trials in this world. You must complete said trials and bring them back to the god or goddess that you decide to pledge your allegiance with in order to exit this plane. So you will need to make a decision, as it were. But if you'd like... Go ahead, Sal.
Sal is going to ask this very genuinely. Whose trials are the easiest?
They all laugh. Probably can't do 3 laughs at once. They are all the same trials. No matter who you pledge your allegiance with, you must complete all of them. Unfortunately.
So who's are the fastest?
Yes. No, there is no difference, as it were.
No matter who you decide to align with, and it should be Ruddy Man, you will hopefully complete your trials and return to your place of death.
He laughs, Ignatius, his large plate armor creaking as he sort of moves back and forth in front of the fire.
And what do these deities glean from us as their champion? Glory? Why do we have to align ourselves with them?
Why-
For what purpose? What do they get
Yeah.
out of this?
Why bring us here only to send us back?
It's a battle of egos, really.
And again, the elven woman nudges him. They each are championing for control of perhaps who is the most populous. Let's put it that way. Each of them desires to seek your love and affection. And yet, each has their own faults, yes. Obviously. Otherwise, they wouldn't be competing in this way.
This is the exact opposite of how Sal's friends are with Sal. Interesting.
What does that mean?
They're all competing for the love and popularity of Sal and want him to do things for them. Where Sal's more just like, I'll win your love by doing things for you.
Nice.
I love this. This is cool.
The last man says, there are 6 trials you must complete in order to receive the key at the end of them, at which point, after you have aligned yourself with the appropriate god, they will open the way for you to return home, as it were. We carry the information of where the keys lie and are essentially here to try to convince you of joining one of our causes.
If we undertake trials and we get to like the third one and die then, if we start again, do we start at the third one or the first one?
You're getting above yourself. For now, don't worry about it. The important thing is, who do you want to hear first?
And he sort of gestures to himself.
The ruddy man? The green lady? Or the pale one?
What order are they?
yeah.
Yeah, good.
I
Cassie
was
would know.
actually, I was just going to ask. I of course remember because I was here, but for the benefit of my friends here, could you remind me which one I picked last time?
The dark-skinned man at the end speaks up and steps forward. And he actually, like, gently grabs your hand in a reassuring way and just says, of course, you supported your brother monk in the pale one. And we appreciate it very much. Though it has been some time that you have tried, he says, sort of with a sadness towards you.
Thanks.
So, who do you want to hear first?
Tell us about the ruddy man.
Right.
He takes a step forward, and the other two sort of like step to the side.
Ha. All right.
He points to his chest, and on his chest you see an emblem of fire.
The ruddy man or the ruddy god? Look, fire is essential in renewal. You'd agree with that, wouldn't you?
He looks towards you, Garrus, sort of fixing who he
All
he's
right, I
selling
get
to.
it. I see what's happening here. I mean, you are correct, but I don't
3
appreciate
full
it.
weeks of timeshare and only one easy payment.
And you notice that the flame on his chest is actually behind it is a phoenix.
Rebirth.
He points.
The ruddy man is a being of fire, and thus the right man for the job when it comes to rebirth. See, what they won't tell you is that each of our gods wants to lay claim over being the one in charge of adventurers like yourself, sending them back. The more champions that will fight for the gods, the more claim they have over being the god of rebirth. And what is more rebirth-centric than that of fire?
And again, he sort of nods to the elven woman.
They don't care about rebirth. They only wish to extend and protect life, no matter the cost. It's a direct rejection of the cycle of death and rebirth. And him,
He points to the bald man.
Brother Jonas, him and the other intellectuals of Sky Citadel are impotent stargazers. They care only for what's eternal, not for anything that dies or is reborn. The ruddy man seeks what is imperfect, what is here and tangible. He is the one who deserves your allegiance.
And then he takes a step over to the others and sits down. And next, the elven woman stands up. She nods. I am a druid. And of course, Sir Ignatius's description is not apt. Me and the Verdant Knights, we respect the natural order of things in the way that Ignatius could never understand. And those who follow my goddess, the Green Lady, welcome the natural death of winter because of the birth of spring. Those who follow the ruddy man only wish to see the world burn. They don't want rebirth, she scoffs. Only death. And then she turns to Brother Jonas. Brother Jonas is more conciliatory. Admitting, I will, The patterns of the heavens are intimately connected with the cycles of nature. But they study timeless truths. The stars may someday die, eons from now. Whereas my people and the Green Lady, we experience death and rebirth every year without fail. A cycle. One that you can trust, she says, confident in her words. And as she nods to Brother Jonas, the monkish man, he listens quietly to the others and walks up and nods to each of what they said, sort of without protest. And after a moment of sort of quiet contemplation, he speaks. There is truth in what they say. The Sky Citadel does indeed study timeless truths. Yet what is more magnificent a rebirth than the rebirth of the worlds, the stars, indeed of entire planes of existence? Those who know the death and rebirth of a foe or a tree do not see the world, do not see the whole truth, and thus could never grasp the totality of what it would mean to be the god of rebirth. For such authority would oversee the death and rebirth of all things, like the Pale One. They are both the white light and the violet shadow. They are everything and nothing. They encompass the grander scheme of things. And you know, and he locks eyes with Cassidy, the truth in everything being more powerful than the one. Again, he sort of nods, thinking again almost about what they said as he returns to his seat.
Do we pick as a group?
Yeah.
You would be wise to do so.
And the elven woman nods, and Brother Jonas sort of says quietly, the truth of the matter is that you should, at the very least, try to choose as a group, for when you receive the keys and complete the trials, only one of our gods will allow those who believed in them to pass on through. Those who chose poorly will unfortunately never return home. They will stay dead forever. And as his words sink heavily on your skin, you hear the whistling winds of the valley beyond.
And we're going to end there for tonight.
I was gonna say, don't make me make that decision right now.
Cat.
Oh my god.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us. This was Hereafter Chapter 0.
Yeah.
Remember, the Kickstarter link is right here. It is also in the description of the video, I think. Actually, no, I haven't put it there yet, but it will be. We're going to be back next Tuesday at 7:30 for Chapter 1, where we continue from this point onward. Everything is on the table at that point. We're going to have some action. We're going to see what these choices are done. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you so much to Jay, Erica, Gary, and Joe for joining us on this adventure. Thank you to everybody who's supported the project so far. Check it out. It is a really fun time. And we are going to be running through the adventure that comes with it. So this is where the fun's going to happen. Make sure to come back and check us out. That is it from us. Hope you have a wonderful night. As my good friend Erica always likes to say,
Check your mail for presents.
check your mail for presents.